Hello, all of you Vainglorious, you wonderful people, and welcome back to Astroneer, where ding ding, research just finished. So let's load up another research object. I think we're up above 10,000. We'll check here in a minute. So we're doing all right. We need to kind of think about a couple of things. One, our power situation still kind of lacking, and we have a couple different directions we can go with that. Two, we need to expand the actual footprint of the base to make it a little neater. And also make some new platforms and things. So we could use some resin. We could make some generators if we wanted to. We could even go with medium generators since we have a smelter. Maybe even set up a little bit of automation in that regard. Maybe get a nice automated backup power system going. Well, we've got like only one platform for a printer, a smelter, and a soil centrifuge. I'd like to get that addressed, get that resolved. Maybe even add in a second research chamber. But of course, that's all after we really get our power situation sorted. So I think that should be our focus for today, is getting power really sorted. But first, what I want to do is not that, is that. I want to grab some of this resin, not all of it, but some of it. Make a couple more canisters, go get some soil, and start flattening out the base so that we can get a little bit more going there. Still have my backup thruster on my backpack, because where else are you going to carry a backup thruster? I mean, come on. I think we were digging soil out down here, weren't we? Yeah, let's just continue that. That works. In fact, so the battery doesn't die, we don't need the drill right now. We'll be fine without it. So we're just going to fill up all three of these canisters, go up there, flatten out a decent portion around the base. I kind of like when we get to the soil collection, it starts opening up these caves and you can see better. Makes things nice. But yeah, we'll get the base all nice and flattened out. We'll even show a way to get a good consistent flat spot. Because I know a lot of times people flatten and then they come back later and then they're like, oh wow, this isn't leveling the same, and now I have to redo my whole base. Yeah, we'll show a way to deal with that. It's really simple. But I'm kind of thinking I would also like a wide mod just to get this done a little bit quicker. Don't know if I have any zinc up there, but look, it's right here. So, oops, did not mean to. Okay, good, I did not hit those. I like to leave those be. I mean, yeah, they're only, 50 bytes per time, but I mean, hey, that's 100 extra bytes that I didn't need power from my struggling power grid. So it helps. Every little bit helps. So I probably already had zinc. I did. That's fine. There. There we go. Nope. There we go. And we'll make that wide mod. Excuse me. We'll make the wide mod. Just helps a little bit in getting everything flattened out a little bit quicker. So we've got a lot of soil. And then what you want to do when you're flattening is pick your spot that you can remember. I tend to always go with like something on the shelter. There's what I'm looking for. Jeez, my brain today. Sometimes I'll go directly under the shelter. Sometimes I'll align it between a couple of feet, which I'm going to do right now. Doesn't have to be exact, but you can see there that the blue line is right at the back of both those feet. If I remember that both feet behind the door, I can always come back to the exact same spot and always level to the exact same plane every single time. We're going to go right up to the edge of our little planted garden here, right up the edge of the woods. I'd like to leave that tree alone because I just kind of like the edge of the woods being there. I don't really worry so much about getting it nice and square and things like that. I just like to have a decent amount of space to work with. I wish the shelter weren't so close to the woods. I wish it was a little bit more out in the middle of this field. Because you can see we're kind of already going up out here towards the edge. And, you know, I like to avoid that as much as possible. Simply because it just looks funky. You can always paint it to help hide it a little bit. But it's still kind of, it's not the best look. And see, we're already going up here as well. And you can tell you're going up because it adds in the gray terrain. And what I want to do is get back over here to power and oxygen. You can hear the battery on my backpack was running low, which means the wide mod would have stopped working, and we don't want that. We want the wide mod to keep working this whole time. We want to do this in one shot here. That way we know, at least on this first pass, we leveled everything 100% consistent. You just don't let go of either your mouse button or your trigger on your controller, whichever you happen to be playing with. Both are fine. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I may paint this too, which we can give a lesson in how to paint. We're going to cover all kinds of fun things today. Yes. And oh, I got away from power, and I said don't do that. But as long as you don't let go of the trigger as soon as you get power back, you will once again regain access to the wide mod. And then we'll go right, whoops, there we go. I keep overestimating how far I can go on these tethers. Let's try to go out here a little bit more, onto the tractor a bit. And that should be a nice size space to work with for now. Probably have to make it bigger again later. Just going to give it a couple more passes just to be sure I didn't miss any little areas. It looks like, though, based upon the shadows, that it's... Whoops, careful, don't dig up the plants. Looks like based on the different shadows and things that we've got pretty good consistency here. So we should title this video Truly Flat. No, not that one. Maybe, I don't know. That'd be bad. People get mad. It's like, oh, a True Flat tutorial, finally. No, I'm not. I mean, I don't have anything against True Flat. It doesn't do anything for me, mainly because I'm terrible, as you can see. With soil, I can make a place for my base, and that's about it. Well, that plant right there is just stubbornly holding on, isn't it? Cool. So what I need is another piece of zinc. So for that, that's titanium. We'll throw you on the smelter real quick. You're not a smelter anymore, though. Now you are. Well, now you're not. So I didn't even use one whole canister of soil, so I guess I didn't even make the other canisters, but it's alright. We have them for later projects. They will come in handy. Looks like we've got some copper here that can be smelted as well. Not going to smelt the quartz until I know I need glass, though I wouldn't mind... Oh, I did already get an oxygen tank. Never mind. Let's say I wouldn't mind having an oxygen tank, but I have one, so whatever. Let's throw this organic right here. We are waiting forever for our zinc here, because our power situation is just abysmal. But what we can do while we're waiting is unlock a couple things. We want the inhibitor mod, and then where did they move? Is it down here? Yeah, the terrain analyzer is down. I need 2 zinc. That's right. Let's go get another sphalerite real quick. Try not to suicide off the side of this. Ow. Did anyway. That was really a hard enough impact? That's kind of surprising. Is that our first death in this series? May have been. I'm really surprised that that was enough of an impact. I didn't leave the ramp until, like, yeah, like right before that. Interesting. Oh well, we died. And grab all that. Cool. God, I hope I can get a good screenshot out of that. Have him grabbing his the death animation. Yeah, it'd be kind of cool. There we go. We got 1. We got 2. We only need 1. Well, we got 3. Bonus. Our backpack space is quickly getting into premium, but I can drop these canisters off now. We don't need to carry them around. As long as you have 1, that's all you really need to have on you. unless you're doing some sort of soil-based project. So we'll throw that one there. We'll throw the other two in a place. I don't really know where. We'll organize that. Let's see. You are all copper. Yeah, we've got a lot of base building we need to do on the next couple videos, including getting some more machinery unlocked, which let's unlock it all. Over the next couple videos, we'll be adding the chemistry lab, atmospheric condenser. I think that's where I'm out of bytes. I always forget where everything is now that things have moved around. There it is. Yeah, we don't have really enough bytes for that. Plus, I can't make steel yet anyway. So, I need actually 2 of those. Let's go ahead and smelt this because sphalerite in its natural form does nothing. It doesn't mix with anything in the chem lab. It is only zinc that helps you. So, we need an inhibitor mod. Then we need a terrain analyzer. And it's the terrain analyzer that we're going to use first. Though I am going to go ahead and put them both over here on my terrain tool. And I'm just going to turn off the inhibitor mod. You do that. You can toggle things off and on. You can tell they're off and on by the little green light. Now, I want this base to be one of these 3 greens. I don't really care where. So what I'm going to do is go back to our cave here. And see if I can't get just a green. So, let's actually also turn the wide mod off. So, with the terrain analyzer equipped, as soon as you start digging a color, you'll continue to dig, but what I can do now is turn on the inhibitor mod, and I will only dig out, or I should only be digging out. Oh, it's not set yet. Never mind. It's not set till it's full. My bad. It's been a while since I've done this. If you listen, you hear it going ding, 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 ding. And then it'll make a noise when it's full. Which I think it just did. Yeah, it just kind of happened at the same time the battery charged. So now my terrain analyzer is set to that color green. So if I try to dig, I will only dig that color soil up. Which it's not really working the way it normally does. Interesting. Your header mod should be allowing me to dig that color of green. But whatever, I'm worried about actually painting with it right now. So, you do need soil on your backpack. You also need power to make sure, and you're going to go through a lot of it because you're going to have all 3 of these working. So, temporarily, I'm going to do a thing here. And then we'll just pick these up later. Thought I had some tethers. Do I not? Guess not. Okay. And the reason I want tethers is for power. So that as I'm going through and painting, I always have power. Because if you run out of power while you're doing this process, you will suddenly run the risk of paint just suddenly building up and making a big blob in the middle of your base that you then have to go back and reflatten. Hi, Weezeweed. So, yeah, it helps to be able to have power. And since my base isn't that big yet as far as actual platforms, then tethers are my option, which I didn't quite have enough there. Probably am going overkill, to be honest. I normally don't do the tether thing. I do it in multiple shots, but I'd kind of like to be able to do this all in one shot here. Just to get it done and not have to go back and forth. So that should cover us pretty well. That's funny that that doesn't ever make a full ring. Like, no matter how many of those I drop there, it's never going to make a full ring. Yeah. Okay, so with the inhibitor mod equipped with terrain analyzer and with some soil in your backpack, bring up a terrain tool and build up. But you won't actually be building up. Instead, you're painting. So this is how you paint without creative mode. This is how we did it back in the day. You guys, actually, I kind of want to turn off. No, I'll leave the wide mod on. I try to leave as much of the other colors in place just to keep a little bit more of a natural look. But if I overwrite some of them or paint over some of them, I guess, that's fine. It used to make the terrain tool noise, but a couple updates ago, terrain tool noise vanished when you're doing this. You can see I'm going through a lot of power right now. The base has no power to resupply me, or at least to recharge my battery, but it does have enough to keep my augments going, which augments are just the little things I have attached to my train tool. You don't have to do this in one continuous sweep. You can do it wherever you want, whenever you want. Since you're not actually leveling or building, you're just painting. Now, word of caution, if you do this underneath a locked platform, it can cause that platform to become unlocked with the new feature. Not always, but it can happen. For example, let's go underneath one of these locked platforms over here. You're unlocked. Are any of them locked? Yeah. So, didn't happen to that one, but I did have it happen on, God, what was I even playing? What save? I don't know. It might have been a new save that I'm using for live streams. We also just covered up this pit. I think it looks better without having all the gray. Just make sure I didn't miss any obvious spots here. Oh, there's a little bit over here. Just gonna spam that. There's a little bit there. I like to take the time to paint. I just think it makes the surrounding area look better than having it be all gray. Wouldn't you agree that just looks better? I don't know. Some people may not find it a necessity. I dig it. And now I can pick up all these tethers because we don't want those out because they're bad for performance. I mean, not as bad as they used to be, but they're still bad for performance. So we just want to pick all these up where I was showing off that I can't make a ring. There we go. Cool. And that one. And then we'll just drop these tethers off for once we get a shredder. We can, for once we get, wow, that was some grammar, Brendan. For when we get a shredder, we can do that. And then you can just drop off your paint colors and have them available later. It's a satisfying sound that makes. Cool. So we got my drill, got my wide mod. Now what I want to do is take that off of there, put that up there. But before I do that, I want to make another medium storage with the 2 remaining resin I have. And then we're going to throw all 3 canisters of soil I have, because we need a lot of platforms. If you haven't guessed yet, this is just kind of like preparing to expand the base type episode. Sometimes you have to do that, though. And since I am doing this series with the intention of showing, you know, no big major edits. Like I said, the only thing that ever happens between videos is I'll reload the research chamber with another research object. That's about it. That's the only thing you guys have actually, quote-unquote, missed when I'm actually doing stuff, is that one little thing there. So, in general, my personal preference is to kind of have storage that is central to both the shuttle as well as where your printer area is going to be. Then have your production area that leads up to that. So I'm thinking I'll have like smelters, soil centrifuges, all that going out this direction. Then we can kind of have storage down here that will probably have to be rebuilt several times as we expand. And then back here by the woods, do power station. Kind of like back over here. That is my thinking right now. So we've got a couple more resin. First things first is we need to make a few more, or a couple more. Whoa, the camera does that weird glitchy thing now. I don't know what really causes it. I want a couple more of these. Go ahead and tell it to make those last 4 resin. I can also grab that. And then we can do that. And then we can take this, grab it. Sun's coming up, so of course soil centrifuge and everything else running full speed ahead, which is always nice. There we go. So now we can make some platforms for our existing machinery. There goes the camera doing that weird thing again. Seems to be like right here. I don't really know what causes that. I really, really don't. So we'll probably do like our centrifuge and smelter here, and then like chem lab right behind it. That way anything that comes off of there can go over there. And eventually it will expand to become even more than that. We'll have a couple extra smelters and things like that, but we are far, far away from that level. Right now, we just want to get our starter base here a little better organized, because it's a bit sad. So we'll throw all that over here. Whoops, just you. There you go. Throw all this stuff over here. And then this is not currently in use, so I can move it, but I gotta unlock it first. So we can move that out of the way for just a moment, because I want to bring the printers, as I said earlier, bring them into play here. And I'd kind of like to get them on their own thing here. There's where I'm running around aimlessly for. I kind of like to get all the printers on bigger platforms. In fact, I don't think I can make them yet, though. Oh, no, I can. They're just aluminum and resin. I like these for printers. They work out really well. So we're going to make 2 of those. I have aluminum, but I just moved everything around, so now I don't know where anything is. There we go. I don't have space in my backpack, so here, hold those for me. Thanks. I just like these round platforms for printers. I think they work out really well. And I'll show you why here in just a second, once we have one. They just give you a lot of extra space to work with, honestly. I don't like how those solar panels are on here with... I've got one extra, and I don't have an extra platform for them yet. I just don't like how it's part solar, part wind. Things like that annoy me. But whatever. I'm not going to call it OCD, because that's disrespectful to people who actually suffer from OCD. Alright, first platform almost done. I'll probably move it down a little bit, like over here. So let's, real quick, even though it's going to kill my print job. Actually, it didn't. Oh, yeah, it did. It really did. What I want to do is get this lined up a little bit better with the line that we're going for, which is about like that. Cool. We will eventually do something with that medium truck horn, but right now we'll just honk it. I thought I had found a squeaker horn in this save. Apparently I am misremembering that fact, because I really thought I had one. Get this over here. Just a little gap for now. We'll redo our power once we're able to. There we go. Cool. So we've got our first T platform. So we can unlock that and just move that. It will unplug. And I kind of want the printers to be even with this. I'm leaving this space over here to the right. Over here for future storage purposes. So I kind of want that right there. So move out of the way. Move out of the way. And I line them up as best I can before I unpackage them, and then I unpackage them. Why? I don't know. It's just the thing I do. I would like a little bit of a gap there, so I can come back in later and add lights. That looks pretty straight, yeah. That's pretty good. I don't have to have my platforms exact, but I like them to be close. So now I want another one of those, but what I want to do is... figure out where I dropped my printers just a second ago. There they are. I want to grab the medium printer. So see, that just sits there on the edge nicely. Or if you want, you can even just spin it around. I usually do the large printer spun around and the smaller printers on their little thing. I'll worry about the small printer later. For now, I got to remember where I left the aluminum. It's right here. Ooh, this is my last bit of aluminum. We're going to have to go on a resource run very soon. Cool, so I can print another one of these, which is going to take a minute. While that is printing, let's figure out where I want to put this stuff. I may not have made the base wide enough, honestly. Move all this out of the way here. It is in my way. just to kind of visually see what's happening. No, I made the base wide enough. We'll be fine. We can put you right here. Barely wide enough. It's going to be right up to the edge here. That should be enough room for the printer. Let's get this turned and lined up a little better. So that can go right there. And then this dude right here can come over here. And this will be for the smelter, though it's not going to sit flat. I can tell already. Yeah, it's not going to sit flat. We'll just smush it in there. Line that up a little better. Not as easy to do on a controller as a mouse, but my mouse is currently recharging, so can't do much with the old mouse at the moment. So that'll be for the smelter, and then eventually we'll do another set in the back over here. Probably different platforms, honestly. These platforms are temporary for me. I don't usually keep them. This one will spin around. Do this for the large printer. And it doesn't matter which one you do where. And honestly, you can use whatever combination of platforms you want. It's just good to have some sort of production flow for your base to make your life just a little bit simpler. So that can connect there. Lock that. Lock that. Lock that. Lock that. That one's not quite straight, but it's okay. So then we lock that, and we get that locked. At least now we have a place for all of our equipment, except the small printer, which for now can just stay on the platform he's on. That'll work. I mainly like to have early on a place I can just drop platforms with resources on them, so I don't have to move resources individually. So like if I make a bunch of resin and I'm going to make a lot of things that use resin, I can just throw it right there on that stand. But that's not a bad little start for redesigning the base in 27 minutes, including a death that we had earlier. So I think that we shall leave it right there. And next time, start building out maybe some of the equipment that we need to get this base really up and running. And also take a look at power, which I think instead of going out and exploring for it for the second time, we'll just spend bytes and go get the resources and craft it. But until then, I'm Brandon, doing the finger guns. I'm Brandon. Get it? Get it? It's right here somewhere. It's got to be this one. Yes, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.